Welcome back, cowboys and cowgirls, to the Network Marketing Cowboy channel. Hey, this is a different Saturday code here because we got my beautiful wife, co-partner, business partner, life partner. This is Sherry Ellingson. She's always kind of behind the scenes, helping me do a lot of stuff. She doesn't like to be on camera a lot. But I was able to convince her to come on and kind of, just have a conversation because, one thing that we really want to do is make sure everybody understands that this is a legacy business. This is a family business. You need to be able to partner up with your spouse, your significant other, to really make sure you're building what's going to last. And if you're not building anything with your partner, there's going to be a wedge drive in between you of when you need to really buckle down and put in those extra hours. You're not going to get resentment from your spouse of you have to, when you're doing those extra hours. I've been up till midnight of working on things, and you don't ever get mad at me for doing that and I'm not coming to bed or being locked in my office all day. And vice versa. When you need to get things done, we're not doing it because we know we got the same vision that we're building both towards.
We're on the same page.
Yeah, we're on the same page on that. And, a lot of you guys know my backstory, but I will just kind of give you a brief summary of what I was doing. I was working for corporate America for almost 20 years. I was financially secure. I was six figures without a problem what I was doing salary, but I was putting in a lot of hours, but I wasn't building anything. I truly was just trading my time for money. I was on call 24/7 with my job. I think,
You carried around two phones that he'd have to answer at any given time.
I had a bat phone. A bat phone. 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I had the bat phone. But I was trading my time for money.
Yes.
And I wasn't building anything with it. Was I successful? Yes. I had a great job. The company treated me well, but there was just something missing.
And you enjoyed what you did.
Oh, yeah, I did enjoy doing what I did. But there was something missing because I was also, looking on a ceiling there. I was at the top of the ladder where nowhere else to move. The last couple of jobs I did for them was just lateral moves of doing other things within the company, but there was no way to move any higher where I was at. So, that was just brief about me. I don't think a lot of you guys have you heard Sherry's story yet, because you probably don't follow her on her social media page, but if you've followed me long enough, you've probably picked up on a few little things. But what had you built before you and I met?
Well, one of the things that got me on my path was the detesting exactly what you had loved, which was corporate America. I was not a good employee. I was not meant to be an employee. It didn't take long before I was like, okay, I need to have something else to do. I need to find a way to get out of this. I have been a serial entrepreneur my whole life. From the time I was a child, picking up rocks, painting them, and knocking on doors to sell them to the neighbors, I have been looking for ways to make money outside of having a job. And so my ex-husband and I met while he was investing in single-family homes. And I was in the real estate industry at the time, and I helped him in getting some of those properties. And that really got my excitement about the industry, about being able to make money at my job at the time, and then turning it into money that we invested into properties that we then held. And so we started out in single family homes, and moved on to duplexes. And then once we got our first apartment complex, that's what we did. We just kept buying up apartment complexes. For the last 3 decades, that's been my life. And it was only a few years, really, of me needing to work before we were able to retire me. And a couple years later, we were able to retire him. And so I learned pretty quickly that if we can find a different way, rather than trading time for money, that was quite a bit more superior in my book. So
It is true. When, so you had a vision with your ex-husband, and then you and I had a vision of what we're building together here.
yes,
One of the biggest things for me was we started doing you asked me to tag along with some real estate investing classes.
yes,
Because both of us were just getting separated at the same time when we met at the gym. And you like, hey, I'm going to go take these real estate investing classes. And do you want to come along? Because I want to do some stuff on my own without my ex-husband now. I'm like, yeah, you got me interested enough of your story of how you was able to not trade time for money anymore. And so you brought me along in that journey. So we started going to some of these real estate seminars of how to invest. And one of them we went to was syndication, that we went into and learned how to use other people's money. And we went there and we met a couple at the happy hour that night. And we started talking to them, and they were part of the senior living. And they was only going to be talking during the VIP time, and we only had general admission tickets at that time. So luckily they were still checking people in, and you and I walked up, can we get the VIP tickets, upgraded VIP tickets? And they said, yeah, we had a couple left. So we hurried and bought those tickets up so we can go listen to this gentleman talk about senior living. Because going through all these real estate investing classes, senior living kept on coming up. And this gentleman had a really unique one that we really hadn't ever heard of, which was residential assisted living. So that's really taking a home and converting it to where you put multiple rooms in there to, you have an assisted living in a residential home, so they're not feeling like it's a big community as like an apartment complex. So that's what we ended up doing with our very first company together.
yes.
Doing that. Kind of what, explain kind of from your point of view how we did this together.
Yeah. Well, I was so grateful when you said that you would join me on these courses, because of course I'd been in the industry and buying apartments for quite some time. However, down here in the Phoenix market, buying at that time that we were looking here for apartments was just not something that penciled out on paper. It just made no sense to be investing at that time. So I knew I wanted to stay in the real estate industry to invest the money that I had. And so these courses led us down a path. And for whatever reason, when we heard that couple talk about the industry of residential assisted living, it was like something just lit up inside of me, like, wow, I think this might be the niche. So we needed to do our investigations, and we started going around and looking at assisted living homes here in the Phoenix Valley. And the thing that kept coming out of my mouth and then Rocky's mouth after we would leave was, we could do this better. Ooh, oh man, we could do this better. And
A lot of the homes we went into were like, we wouldn't put our parents here.
yeah, we wanted, so eventually, because we kept saying we could do this better, it was kind of like, well, then you should do better. And I think that was, then we took the course to really understand the industry. And it was at that place that we met another gentleman who we just kind of synced with. We were all on the path to, we had parents that were going to be needing to be in that situation at some point in the near future. So it was very personal as well for the three of us.
Yeah, I mean, for the three of us doing this, but you know, he was from California, and he was not a person that would have the time or energy to really handle the day-to-day operations, but he could bring money in. And I had the operational experience from doing everything I did for corporate America. So I could put teams together. I knew how to run operations. And so it was kind of like Sherry and I were talking like, well, after getting to know him and his family, because his dad was taking the course with him, we kind of just approached him one day and said, do you want to just partner with us, the three of us? And he was like, yes. He goes, I want to do it in the Arizona market because it was very easy to get into the Arizona market at that time.
Instead of in
And California was just going to be hard to do. And penciling it out with real estate costs in California was going to be very hard to do. So he was just on board. So that's how we kind of first started our company together. I brought in the operational experience. Sherry brought in money. Our other partner brought in money. And then Sherry loves interior decorating, so
I like making a home.
Yeah. So she was able to, make the homes feel very personal. You wasn't walking in like, oh, this looks like an assisted living place, She was able to pick out everything and make it really feel like, she says, a home, which was very key for us when we was starting out to be advertised on that. But, we learned off of that, anytime you take a course, it was like, oh, it's going to be easy, you'll do this. But we approached this we really wanted to make a change in the industry here of how homes should be built or remodeled to. Kind of, what was your take on what we did there? Because you had a lot of input on that.
Yeah, I mean, you started this off by talking about legacy, and we quickly realized that we wanted our legacy amongst the industry is to change it and elevate it, and we wanted people to feel like they were still at home, not moving into some institutional facility. A nursing home, I think we've all seen those or heard of those and don't have necessarily a great opinion of them for many of us. And so I was really hoping that we could change the trajectory of that industry here locally to get people to think of this as a wonderful place to leave their family, because they would feel like they were being left with family.
And just how the homes were built or remodeled, assisted living, most of the people were either in wheelchairs or walkers and all that stuff. And most of the homes we went into, since there's caregivers there, you don't need to have an ADA compliant home, because you have somebody there to help them do their daily activities. Right. But one thing that we really looked at is like, no, if we don't have an ADA compliant home, that's less things that they can do, and then they don't feel like they have a purpose if they can't roll up to and wash their hands because there's a cabinet underneath the sink and they're in a wheelchair.
Yes.
And so we really wanted to change the industry of making these places of ADA compliant all the way through to really make a difference. And that's where our legacy really kind of started at, because No, we remodeled. We bought a home, we remodeled it, and everybody started calling it Taj Mahal. And then we did our third one, and then they're like, okay, now that was the standard because everybody after that started doing what we did
Yes.
in this industry.
We created a competition that all the other people in the industry needed to start matching in order to compete with what we had built.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, here's the one thing that we really want you guys to understand is we didn't have all the money to do this. But through our network of being out there networking, we was able to find a partner to bring in the additional money that we did not have to make this successful.
Yeah.
And if you're not out networking, if you're not out meeting people, you're never going to really truly be able to know what they're going to be accomplished, what they're wanting to get accomplished, and what you're wanting to get accomplished, because those goals could align, those visions could align if you're out there networking.
Yes.
And, since we are part of the network marketing business, I mean, that's one of the things we do go out there. It's not, hey, will you buy our product from us? It's, what do you need? What can I help you with?
Yeah.
Because I do have this large network. You have a large network. Oh, yeah, we can help you with that. Because that helps, like, I'm going to reach out to them, and they're like, okay, well, now tell me a little bit more about what you guys actually do. And it kind of gives you a natural opening into doing it, because when you guys were investing into single-family homes, you and your ex-husband, and you was leaving corporate America, you got into a network marketing business then.
Yes. Yes.
And this is where the framework of the R.A.N.C.H method really came from, was from this lovely lady back in the 1980s. So kind of tell that story of how you guys use the network marketing into real estate.
Yeah.
A little bit more deeper.
Well, when I was looking to stay home to raise 2 babies and quit corporate America, I knew that I was going to want and probably need more income coming in. And luckily at that time, my father contacted me out of the blue. He's a doctor. He was an ear, nose, and throat doctor, and he said, hey, I know you like this industry. I'm not sure I do, but this product is incredible. And it was a product for lowering cholesterol naturally. And it had already worked for him and Mom, and he was excited about it, but didn't know anything about the industry. And I did have a little bit of a background in it, so I excitedly checked out the products, and because I was going to have to share it with people anyway, it only made sense to do it as a business. And I was living in Des Moines, Iowa at the time, and I really didn't know a soul. So I relied on the cold market at that time to start contacting people. And one of those people turns out to be somebody that that did pest control, and we needed a new person for pest control. And so anyway, he started doing our apartments. And at some point in time, he came to me and said, you know what, I've got somebody, a new client I was working with, who just told me he's planning to sell his duplexes. You guys don't have duplexes, but would you be interested? Should I give him your number? And the answer was yes. And so just because of that contact, it then led me, that contact, in network marketing, building a relationship and helping him and his family build that business, led him to think of me with the duplexes. And thus we contacted that gentleman and we bought all his duplexes. Didn't have to have a real estate person involved, and so it was a win-win and a win.
And the pest control guy, he was telling me the story is, because he was going to lose that business because he didn't know if that new company, whoever bought these duplexes, was going to keep him on or not, probably go out to bid or not.
Right.
But, you guys was able to keep him in there. You met him through the network marketing side of a contact out there. And, you have to think back in the 1980s doing network marketing, it was, you had to pick up a phone. You had to
pick up a phone.
You had to go and organize events, get people to events.
Yep.
There was nothing about attraction marketing back then that you could reach out and build a community over the internet like we do today. So that's a little bit different. So you had to really get out there and talk to people.
Yeah, you got to know people. You got to know their families and what it is. And it was pretty natural, I think, back then, maybe not as much anymore, and maybe that's just my perspective, that you would you'd find out a lot about them, and you would try to figure out how you could support them in anything that they were doing.
Well, and that's the one part of network marketing that hasn't changed is, I know network marketing has gotten a bad rap because people just started going out and pushing product and not talking about it. But network marketing is truly about building a network of supporting each other. And that's you supporting them of whatever their business goals are, whatever they have, because network marketing, you can make it a full-time job, but it's really designed to be a supplemental income of part-time doing this stuff. And eventually you could make it a full-time supplement. That's what we teach about with the ranch method. So what they was able to do is, when she was doing her network marketing, it wasn't living expenses. It was all designed to, the money coming from her network marketing business went in to purchase more single-family homes.
Yes.
Which then led to this dualplex. Then it led to the person he bought the duplexes from goes, hey, I know this guy that's selling an apartment. You guys want to get into apartment businesses now?
Yes, and that was our first apartment. And
Again,
it was all through networking.
Yep.
It was all through networking.
So when you guys really think about network marketing, just think about how you can help people. Not what they can help you with, is how you can help them with. And because that's what we really teach in the ranch method. So you just kind of heard of what Sherry did, and that's where she finally approached me is, hey, when we sold the residential assisted living business, and we really started getting in, like, hey, I'm taking some time off. I wanted to go hunting. I was, like I said, almost 20 years in corporate America, building our own business. We sold it. I'm like, I just need to check out for a while.
You didn't have any reason to have to answer the phone in the middle of the night, probably for the first time in your adult life.
It definitely was. And so it was just, I need to take off. But then, as you guys heard in my stories at Done on Time, is we was sitting pretty much right where we are now. And we had my good friend and mentor up here. We was having dinner. And he just kind of looked at me. He goes, so what are you going to do now? I'm like, I don't know yet. He goes, well, you build a good reputation. You become irrelevant quick. You're not going out. You're not networking. You're not doing anything anymore. I'm like, I kind of took that kind of personally,
Yeah,
and
that word irrelevant was...
That kind of hit me right there, So that's where I started really thinking, okay, we was part of this network marketing company already, which I wasn't really doing anything with. You was got enough people to pay for the products that we used. And so, but we was wearing this product, and I'm like, we're feeling better. Everything was doing what the product says it was doing. And then I'm like, okay, I started looking at, okay, what can we start doing now? And he's like, well, why don't we do this? And I'm like, okay, I'm not a salesperson. I don't like selling.
But the point is, I believe the industry really is based around products or services that you're gonna tell people about anyway.
Yeah.
That it is so impactful to you that those people you care about, those people you run into, that you know you might be the only person that would be able to share this product or service with them. It's kind of like you just have to do it. And there's a business attached to doing so. And there's a whole lot of people out there who are looking for ways to make extra income, like I was at a time of wanting to stay home with 2 kids. And it was just a natural fit. At the same time, I started using the product, and I wasn't thinking about doing it as a business at the time. But what happened was I had to tell the people that I cared about. And everywhere around me, people were starting to feel better and notice a difference. And Rocky as well. He was feeling better. And when you were going through this transition between us having this business to having time off, it was time off. And you were starting to get a little bit stir crazy.
Two years off, you know, I did get a little stir crazy.
But I had been doing, learning more about the business and getting excited about the potential that was there. And because I love the industry so much, I encouraged Rocky to take a look at it. And so he did a deep dive. You took those things that you were nervous about and unsure about, and you studied, and you asked questions, and you got your answer, so your questions answered, and you were like, okay, let's do this.
And so, you know, we really took this together as a team. You know, so one of the things that, you know, either one of us, we have our strengths and weaknesses. Well, neither one of us are good. I mean, like I said, I'm not a salesperson, but learning how to do this business, you're not a salesperson, you're a consultant. And I've been a consultant my whole life in corporate America of helping people fix things.
I would say you have been in service your whole life. Because you are that person, no matter where we're at, you're always looking for how can I help you.
And so that's why I just looked at it. Because it was a product that we believed in. And that's one thing I think with people that get into network marketing, they look at it as, they don't know if they believe in that product. They're just trying to push a product to make money. But I think if you are really connected to the product, if you've seen, or service, you're going to represent it differently. Because you got that personal connection to it. And that's one thing that we really teach in the R.A.N.C.H method of it. We're in network marketing, but you don't have to join us, because you have to find that product or service that you have a connection with.
Yeah, it's so important. So important.
You know, but going back to what helps us as, you know, with our strengths and weaknesses, you know, we're able to support each other of, you know, with the business side of it, that you don't like to get into the numbers, and I'm a numbers person, you know, or you don't like getting up on stage a lot to do presentations, but she can get people to where I can talk to them at, you know, because I can stand up on the stage and talk, just like, you know, why I started this YouTube channel, because I don't mind getting out and talking. So, you know, it pairs us up well, because we both have our strengths and weaknesses that we can help support each other.
And I have a passion around health, and we happen to be in the health industry, and so
we met at a gym, you guys. So we're both very health conscious people. And we met at a gym, so this product really just kind of fell in our lap about this. But you know, kind of tell me about what's made it better for you building together with me, instead of when I wasn't really doing it, when you were just trying to do it by yourself. Because if your spouse is out there listening to this right now, this is really going to be a key point for them right now.
Well, you know, I didn't look at it even as a business until you joined, even though I was sharing it, and you know, it became a business when the two of us decided together, because you know what, there's just so much more power behind that. Get someone to talk about it with at home. I can share the details of what I'm doing and what I hope to do, and he can ask me if there's any way that he can support me, and vice versa. And so we get to travel together. Everywhere we go, we are able to, play off of each other. If you met somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, they've got this concern when I was talking to them. Well, if it's a health concern, you're probably going to be talking to me, because
she
so
goes deep
passionate
dives into all health stuff, especially natural health stuff.
Yes.
She deep dives into.
I do.
So like, if they're just looking at like, hey, why don't you talk to my wife?
Yeah.
She can tell you a bunch of stuff, and it might not even where our product will help them, but again, she's a resource on this.
Yeah.
But the one thing that we do as a result of being together is we're able to bring in, our faith, our integrity, all this in to this, because we want to make sure we're doing this business right. So we're not out there pushing product on everybody that we ever talk to.
No.
We go out into, like you said earlier, service. What can we help you guys with?
Yeah.
So that's what we kind of really teach in the ranch method, is how can we be of more service, and how do you do this stuff? Yes, there is other aspects of this, of trying to find the people that will come to you that want it. So there's certain things you do. There's certain ways that, hey, well, I may want to try to talk my family members into doing this because I know they'll get the benefit from it, but they just don't believe in network marketing. Well, there's little tips and tricks that we've learned, because we do continuing education on how to make network marketing better. Is, well, you don't approach your family members or something like this with the product. You approach, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'd love your support, and this is how you can help me. Can I just give the presentation to you so I can practice doing the presentation, talking about it, instead of doing this? And then they're going to be hearing this presentation. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about what this product actually does, or this service actually does? I mean, then you're not being that one that you're at every family event, you're trying to push product.
Yeah, the one that everyone is avoiding.
Everyone's avoiding. So there's a correct way of doing network marketing, and there's a old way of doing network marketing. But that's one thing. But just building with your spouse is been a such privilege for me, because I've never had built anything before that, but being able to build that with you has just been a grateful opportunity that we've been able to do. And then of like my vision of like, okay, yeah, we're building this network marketing, but we're also big fans of real estate. And how can we go out and help other people do this too? Because to get true time freedom, you need to be able to have hard assets.
Yes.
And
it still comes back to that.
It comes back to that. And so that was one of the things of like, the R.A.N.C.H method really came from this lady right here. I just gave it a name. Like, okay, we're doing this, but it's about doing small things every single day in order to become successful at it. Yeah. And it's not going to happen overnight. It could happen depending on your network.
Yes.
And who's around to support you, because if you got people around that's going to support you, it's going to be a lot easier. And to the spouses, what would you give to the spouses that, there's somebody on here that's wanting to do this and they're bringing their spouse on to kind of watch this episode too? What would you say to that spouse that may be skeptical of doing this type of a business.
Yeah, well, it wasn't until you were ready to do something that I talked to you about you being part of that.
Yeah.
And I think the way you just said about approaching family is you kind of approach your spouse the same way, and you just ask for them to support you. Rocky supported me from the beginning when he didn't even feel anything from the technology that we were using at that point in time. And you supported me right away.
Oh, yeah.
You were like, well, yeah, great. If this could possibly help us, I'm going to, give it a try. That's support. And you would share your story at all times with others. And so he was supporting me because that's just who he is. But it would have been a nice thing if your spouse is reluctant to you getting into the industry or being part of it, just ask for their support. Just to back you up. Start there, and as you continue to move forward in it, they're going to see your excitement and something growing, and they're going to wonder what this is really all about, and they're going to have a little bit of FOMO, fear of missing out at some point. There were some great trips that you didn't participate in the very beginning.
I was busy hunting, so I did. I kind of regret missing them, but I don't kind of regret missing them because the trips I missed, I was out in the wilderness, so I was kind of happy. You was able to do your stuff and everything like that, but the people you met and the people you saw and live free concerts of some people I kind of missed that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There, he admitted it.
But it's critical that you really have an open conversation with your spouse of what you're trying to do and why you try to do it. In the description below, we're going to have a link to our free training video of what we kind of go over in this ranch course. I encourage you guys to sign up for that. It's going to be about 90 minutes, but in our course, the first thing that we have you do is come up with your why. Why are you wanting this? And this is where you have to be on the same page as your spouse. If you're trying to do this as a family, of why doing this? Is it just for extra money, or is it trying to get out of a certain financial situation? You're going to really dig down deep in that area of the why, and then creating that vision of what you're wanting to do.
Well, and that has been something that I think has been so really important for us building together, starting with the residential assisted living and now into what we're doing now with our investments, is creating that vision. And there's a real bonding that goes on when you stop thinking about your limitations and you start thinking about all the things that are possible, and bring some excitement back into one's life, knowing that you're creating a vision of something that you are going to build together.
Yeah, and the thing is we was able to do that vision of having that conversations together, of sitting down, okay, what do we want this to look like a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, and why is this important to us to be able to do this? Of connecting that stuff together. So again, I just want to encourage you guys, in the description, there's a free training video link to, you can schedule, it runs every Tuesday at, I think, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, that you can jump on a call. You can get registered for it on Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. It takes about 90 minutes, okay? And it'll be a great opportunity for you guys to really sit down and then listen to it and see if this is going to fit to you or not. This is not for everybody, and I'm fine with that. But if you think this is an opportunity for you guys, please click on that link in the description And we look forward to seeing you guys on there. But remember, this is all about faith, freedom, and financial independence. And it's up to you to go build the rest now. God bless you all.